Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives. And I'm really delighted because today I'm joined by Melanie Coeshott. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Julie.
So for those of you that don't yet know Melanie, she is a career coach. So before we get into talking about that, Melanie, how about we start with you telling us a little bit about your background, and the kind of beliefs that you inherited as you were growing up.
That's an interesting question. Okay, so my background, I was an accountant for 22 years before deciding to change my life and become a full-time coach. And yeah, I had a full career, quite an interesting career, but it just got to the point where maybe that's not what I wanted to do for the next chapter of my life. But in terms of any beliefs that I grew up with, I think for a long time, I did believe that a good job would speak for itself. So I kind of thought that actually, if I was doing a good job, keeping my head down, delivering on expectations and things, that actually I would get noticed, I'd get tapped on the shoulder, and I get promoted. And life doesn't always work like that. So that was one of those beliefs that I believed for a long, long time until I realized that actually it wasn't enough. I think also some of my beliefs around money probably came from my childhood in terms of, you have to work hard to get money, you have to work hard to get a good job. And I think, especially in this kind of YouTuber influencer world, this has been disproved a lot. And actually, it's made me question a lot of my own beliefs and values as well. And I still work hard, and probably of that school that does work hard, and I like to work hard, but I know it's not always an equation, an equal equation that if you work hard, you'll get stuff, or work hard, you'll get promotion, because actually some of these people today are proving that you don't need to work hard, but maybe you just need to be smart about how you work.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to what you said about that sort of scarcity mindset and beliefs around money, and some people watching may not have considered that they have limiting beliefs about anything. So what kind of things did you hear from your parents that then equated to that mindset that you had, that had you believe that perhaps money wasn't as readily available as you thought it might be?
Yeah, the whole money doesn't grow on trees, and not that rich people were bad, but I think my mum had some views about people that had money. And she even goes on about them today, expensive foreign holidays and things. So she had some hang-ups about money, which then got passed on to me and my brother. And then it isn't until later on in life that actually we can see them for what they are. And beliefs, they're simply stories that we tell ourselves, and we pick them up throughout our lives, but particularly when we are impressionable. I was going to say vulnerable, but probably more impressionable, and often when we're younger. So it's often from our parents, our teachers, and other influential people in our lives at those critical points.
Yeah. Did you learn any beliefs that really served you when you were growing up and still serve you now?
I still hear my dad's voice saying it's character building, and he told me a lot when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, particularly. Yeah, it's character building, and it was always a bit, why are you saying that to me? Why can't you just lend me that money or buy me that whatever, or help me with this? And actually, I think that was a really useful thing. So I resist saying it to my kids, but I know that it's something that it's held me in good stead at different points throughout my life. So I do think that, challenges or obstacles or things not being immediately easy or apparent can actually help us learn something. So whether it's character building or not, it's there for a purpose to help us and serve us.
Yeah, I agree. And do you think that, if you would have been able to have another wise voice that was kind of sitting on your other shoulder when you were struggling with things as you were growing up, what might you have said? What might you have wanted that wise voice to say?
Just believe in yourself, follow your path as well. And I thought that I was following my path at the time, but now looking back, I feel like I was probably on some kind of educational conveyor belt where, you know, I'd got on at school and, you know, I felt like I was making choices. That's not the case that other people were making those choices for me, but probably I wasn't questioning some of those bigger choices, and maybe to question and see if there were other ways, or make sure that was really the right path that I wanted to follow.
Yeah. How important would you say it is to feel fulfilled in your work?
I think it's very, very important. And that's what I help people with now, or one of the things that I help people with now. Now, for me, it's very, very important. And I feel like I have been fulfilled in my work for much of my work. I think the things that fulfilled me when I was younger are not the same things that were fulfilling me, or not fulfilling me maybe a few years ago. And it maybe took a while for me to see that actually that fulfillment wasn't there, that I kind of lost some of that passion and purpose. But I think it's really important. You know, we only have one life. We have lots of different chapters of our books that we can slice our lives up into, but we only have one life. And actually, if we're not getting that sense of fulfillment from what we're doing, then maybe it's time to look around for something else that does provide it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. So obviously you do know what you're doing, because I know that in 2020 you won the most empowering career coach, which is amazing. Why do you think, Melanie, that you won that award?
I like to show people that they have choices. So I think that's one of my biggest things when I'm empowering people, because when they come to me, they feel stuck. They feel like they're on a particular path, or they're in a particular situation where they're not happy, but they can't see those options. They can't see that there are other things that they could do. So one of the first things, and probably the biggest impacts that I have with people, is showing them that they do have choices and they do have options, and helping them to see those options with clarity, and then helping them to make the right decision for them and walk on that path. And for me, empowerment's all about that. So yeah, I think that comes through in my work, definitely, and that's probably why I won the award.
Brilliant. What kind of clients do you work with?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I guess my typical coaching client, and it's very difficult to say that because I work with lots of different people, but my typical client is somebody like me. So somebody that's been doing what they do for 20 odd years, that has invested in themselves personally, professionally, and they've made sacrifices to do their thing, to pursue their career. And it's all been going fine until the point where it isn't. So maybe they're struggling to get that promotion, or maybe they're looking to move somewhere else and they've not had to apply for jobs and position themselves and sell themselves elsewhere for a long time. Or maybe they've got that new position or got that promotion and they need some help growing and expanding into that new position. So that's the traditional type of person that I work with. And often they have either a financial services background or a finance background. So my background was in accounting and finance, in working in financial services. So actually I cross a lot of people that tick those boxes there.
Great. If someone watching right now is feeling really unfulfilled in their job or in their career, what advice would you give them?
Well, they could book in with me for a free 30-minute career discussion, but some people aren't ready to take that plunge. They're not ready to almost maybe expose themselves. They feel sometimes like they're being exposed. So my advice for them, if they want something to do with themselves, is look at what's where they are right now. Look at that situation and see themselves as a plant. So we are all like plants in a pot, and to question what it is that's not working for them. So we're in a pot. The pots are all different. They might be different shapes, sizes. They might be made of different things. Is your pot, your role, the right pot for you? Or actually, is there something about the pot that isn't right in your current situation? Have you outgrown it? Or are you in a pot that's too big for you? Or, you know, is it just the wrong type of pot? So that's the first question around the role. The second one is the location of the pot. So you might be in a nice sunny room, you might be on the windowsill, you might be in a sunny room but away, you know, towards the back of the room, you might be in a shady place, you might be in a cool place, a hot place, whatever. And the position of your plant pot correlates to your situation. So that could be your working environment, it could be the culture of the organization, it could be the team that you're working in, it could be the profession or the sector, it could be any of these different things. So taking a look at, maybe you're in the right pot, so the role is right for you, but the location is not, the environment is not. And then the final thing to look at with a plant is, are you getting the right nurturing? And this is about the management, and that could be the senior management or your direct management. Are you being developed and nourished and supported, or actually are you being micromanaged, or are you being just left to get on and flounder? So I think looking at the pot, your role, looking at the location, your environment and your situation, and looking at the nourishment, your management, can be really important factors.
I absolutely love that analogy. Yeah. And of course, all plants have the potential to flourish. So I think that's fantastic. We know obviously that life is not all about working, is it? No matter how much you love your work, you know, it's really important to have some downtime. So what kind of things do you do when you're not working?
Lots of different things. So I've always lived for the weekends. That's something that I've told myself since I was very early in my career. And it's about working to live and not living to work. And I think sometimes we kind of get that a bit muddled up a bit, because our work and our lives get very intertwined. So for me, I've always been very conscious about almost pressing the off button. So on a Friday night, try and press the off button to leave work behind and leave those thoughts behind. And I like exercising. So whether that's going for a walk, going for a run, I've got a swim booked in for later today, doing some yoga. So really taking a break and doing something physical that clears my mind and also allows me to move and be active as well. So that's one of the main things. And often, you know, you probably remark a lot of these things are done on my own. So they're not team sports or anything. And actually, I feel like I need that time to recharge. I'm quite introverted. So although I love people and love interacting with them, I do need that time on my own. So yeah, exercise, definitely. Reading, I read for pleasure. I read for development. I'm part of several different book clubs. So I'm always reading or listening to books on audiobook as well. So when I'm going out for my walks, I'm often listening to something to kind of challenge me, develop me, or give me a new perspective. So those are the big things. You know, I like socializing, I like spending time with my family as well. But the exercise and the reading are the things for me personally.
Fabulous. Well, obviously, I'm going to put all your links below this interview. So do check Melanie's details out, and of course book in for one of those, do you call it a discovery session?
A career discussion.
A career discussion. Okay. One final question, Melanie. When you're no longer on this planet, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one, isn't it? I want to be remembered as someone who inspired and empowered. So we talked about empowerment at the beginning, didn't we? But I think, you know, you can't empower people or inspire people just by telling them to do it. It's by their actions, by your actions. So I want people to see what I've done, see what I've accomplished, and actually feel inspired, and to take a bit of that with them to then create a positive ripple effect. So that's how I would like to be remembered.
Fantastic. Melanie Coeshott, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.